it's the relationship that you have with the person or the
Right.
relationship with other people. Because what people don't realize is, especially when you buy into mentorships, you buy into a community, right? Think about it like this, and I'll let everybody else go, kind of get to the night, right? Is if you let's say something costs $10,000, right? It's like, hey, it's a lot of money. Think about if you get $10,000, you buy into a mentorship. You're in another room with 50 other people. That's 50 other people that you may not have in your current circle who not only think like you, but had $10,000 to put up to be in that room. Now, you don't know
Right.
what they do on a day-to-day basis, but they made enough money to actually spend $10,000 to get there. So those relationships, you may have somebody in there that does Turo, you may have somebody in there that does marketing, somebody in there that's purely a salesman. You may have somebody in there that does wholesaling. Like, you don't know what type of people you're going to meet in relationships. When you start getting around those people, you'll start developing your skills. It goes back to what we talked about 2 weeks ago, right? Mindset, consistency, all these that are built up through whatever avenue you go through, you will find that in these groups with different people. So I just wanted to give y'all something real quick just to get started, just in terms of a play you can run. I know it's not like cute or whatever on the day. What it actually means is like you really just working people, talking to
Yep.
people. And the last thing I'll say, y'all, for this play specifically, like, because I'm actionable, is like start saying hi to everyone. Start just talking to people. Like, it's simple as, you know, how people we walk past on a day to day we don't know, like, and we never say anything to them. Like, granted, what I learned in sales that was so of is like the value of having a simple conversation can change everything. You can literally just start talking to somebody while you're waiting in line. Hey man, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? It's nice to meet you. You start having a basic conversation with them. Figure out, you know, maybe you don't need to get directly into what they somehow, some way you may get to that point. You may just develop a relationship right there. That relationship
Right.
may further down the line. So I just want to start out with that, y'all. Just go out, just start building relationships, y'all. You'd be so surprised with just having simple conversations with people, how far it can take, even people that you think, man, they ain't gonna respond to me. Yo, there's so many people you can reach out to. So if y'all have anything, we can go ahead and get started. If you got something you want to say about that, Greg.
So, well, yeah, first of all, I want to introduce myself to all your audience. So, my name is Greg. I'm an entrepreneur that does Airbnb. I do Airbnb coaching, and right now I'm also doing content creating with YouTube. So, I totally agree with what you're saying with like building relationships. I think that that's kind of like one of the first things you have to do as an entrepreneur to start like opening your kind of like the doors for different avenues, right? So, especially if you're trying to do Airbnb, since I'm going to talk more about that later. So since we're doing, let's say for example, you want to get into Airbnb, but you don't have a lot of money to like buy your property. Uh, there's one way that you can do it called rent arbitrage, and that's basically when you rent out properties from other property owners and you list them on the Airbnb platform. So right there, you got yourself a property without having to drop a lot of money into like purchasing your first property. So before you actually go and get your first property, you have to network and find property owners in the first place. So a lot of people tell me how do you find property owners that are renting their properties? First of all, you have to kind of go to those real estate meetups. You have to go to events that are maybe like high individuals that like have properties. Let's say that there's like a fair of like dentists or doctors. That's maybe a good place to go because most of these people have already investment properties. They might not have a lot, but they might have one or two. And sometimes you come to a place where you meet this person and they're renting the property, and you bring up the idea of Airbnb or what you do, and that can be your first your first prospect, you know, your first client. So yeah, I totally agree with like building relationships with people. Um, Everybody thinks that everything's gonna fall in their lap, but you kind of have to go look for that person to kind of give you some guidance. I also like agree with what you said that it doesn't hurt to DM somebody that is talking about what you want to do. You know, for me personally, I try to like respond to as many people as possible because I know what it feels like. You know, I was once in their shoes that was basically starting from nothing, and all you have to like sometimes all you need is that extra push from someone. You know, and but yeah, let's first like start. If you guys really want to get into entrepreneurship, one way to do it is by simply just start meeting people. and start like hanging out with high network individuals that can possibly open the doors for different opportunities.
Love it. You got it.
Yeah,
You guys hear me? Or,
I have something I was going to ask. Just kind of get started with asking Greg a few questions.
So,
yeah, man. So you talked about something important. Right? You talked about your journey. We talk about it every time that we come on here because like none of this stuff is relevant unless you have a mindset. Every strategy to building wealth, building value, creating products, whatever we talk about. But if your mind is not framed properly, none of it matters. Can you talk quick, Greg, when you get a second, just like about how or when did your mind switch? Like, what was it that you met? Were you were you at a conference? Like, was it a radical conversation you had with somebody? Like, what was that point for you to where you know your mind switched?
Okay, so let's go back to like it was when I was like 21. That was a couple of years ago. I'm 26 right now, so it was like about 5 years ago when that entrepreneurship like this sparked in my head. You know, that I was like, you know what, I have to do something different to change my current situation. So it all started with basically me always having a bad attitude when I used to go to work. You know, I was like, you know what, why am I going to work and I'm still broke? And I want to drive that nice Mercedes. I want to have that nice house one day. How am I going to get to that level? So I was just searching online, going on YouTube, just like going like, okay, you know what? How do you make an extra $1,000 a month? You know, so that's when that kind of sparked into my idea, like, or okay, there's other ways to make money, not just to go to work. So that's when I started looking into real estate, Airbnb, drop shipping, Amazon. My first business that I ever started was Amazon. All right, that's like the first thing that I actually did. That was when I was back in like 2018 around there. I started Amazon and I failed, you know. And you know, one thing that I learned from that is that I just took action. You know, if I didn't take took the courage to actually do it, I wouldn't be here where I'm at right now. So one thing that it actually took, it was courage for me to just take action and to just go for it. Who cares if I failed, you know? At the end of the day, I failed, but I learned a lot. So now after I failed that, I was like, okay, you know what? That didn't work. Let's try real estate. I tried wholesaling. That also didn't work. But if it wasn't for wholesaling, I wouldn't learn about Airbnb. So it's just about just trying out a bunch of different things and just always questioning everything. You know, don't always just settle for what the system like what the plan is already set for you. You know, always question different things. If everybody's going right, go left. And that's kind of what I did early on in my life. That everybody was going to college, everybody was getting those like construction jobs because I grew up in a area where there's a bunch of like well, I'm Mexican, right? So a bunch of other people are doing the same thing, which is construction. So I was expected to go that route, you know, like, okay, you didn't go to school. Okay, you have to go that route. So unfortunately, well, I was working there for a couple of years for as an electrician. And then I was like, you know what, this is not working for me. I'm going to do something else. And once I got into Airbnb, I quit my job and I just ran with that and I did it full time. And thank God it's been working out pretty good so far.
Let me kind of hit on something, because and Greg, I met you from you being my mentor essentially.
Yeah.
I love the way that you piece your content together and give your audience an understanding. So, like I said, I do want to hit on. I appreciate you coming on this platform, but I do want to follow you going in those business endeavors, and also hitting on like how you didn't have success right up front. Can you talk about kind of like the pitfalls that you went through, like you being able to take a lesson from Amazon that was applicable to Airbnb business? Can you kind of? I think what people need to understand, bro, is they might find a niche as soon as they get the journey. It might not work out exactly how they wanted to, but they can take lessons and apply it to another business and be like 5 times more successful. So I love how you kind of go through one of those pitfalls. Like, okay, this didn't work, bro. So now it's time to change. Or talk about some and things.
So look, I mean, I honestly, I don't regret everything I did, because everything that I was doing, I was learning like a bit of everything, right? So when I was doing Amazon, I noticed right away that, you know what, this ain't working, because one, I'm not good at marketing. And the other thing, I wasn't good at choosing the right product. Screw it, you know? That was when I was like, had my first pitfall. I was like, you know what, this is not working. I need to do something else. So everything that I learned, which was like kind of like kind of creating a product, like creating a listing, like choosing what, like choosing like basically like something that can potentially work. I applied it to Airbnb, you know? So I feel like all those skills that I learned early helped me list a property in Airbnb, you know? But honestly, like the reason why I kind of like had that moment, which I kind of failed, was because I gave up too early. It was the mindset, you know? It was, I feel like my mindset wasn't ready enough to like pursue that Amazon career.
Yeah.
But like I said, you know, I don't regret all the moves I took, because it helped me become the person who I am right now. But to answer your question, I feel like the one thing that I messed up on was the mindset. I didn't have the right mindset to keep on going with that Amazon career that I wanted to do.
Got you, bro.
You know? So for those of you watching, if you guys want to get into entrepreneurship, you will come across some difficulties along the way. You know, it's not going to be easy. Everything's with entrepreneurship is going to be hard. So you have to like always be that problem solver along the way, because it's all problems and you just have to be good at solving them. And with me early on, I didn't have that same mindset that I have right now. So I kind of just gave up. I threw everything away. I was like, you know what? Okay, time's up. I need to find something else.
Yeah.
You know?
Hit on. Pay attention to what he said. Look, the fact that I wasn't good at marketing. I was good at, right? It's doubling down that you're good at, right? What are you really good at? Maximizing your skill set, right? And I think what Greg was saying earlier is such a valuable lesson, which is I had to things to figure out exactly what I'm good at. And then you notice what. And let me ask you this, Greg. Once you figured out what that one thing was with Airbnb, did you lock in on that, or did you keep trying a bunch of other things?
Nah. So one thing that I learned along the way was, you know what? I have to like focus on one thing first. Because obviously when I started my first Airbnb, I was like, okay, what's next? This is working. This is making me money. What's next? But I immediately was like, you know what? If I want to get good at something, I have to like just focus on one thing at a time. And that's another thing I forgot to mention, that when I was early in my entrepreneurship career or journey, was that I wanted to try a bunch of things at the same time. And that obviously doesn't work. I was more like doing like that shiny objects thing, whatever it's called. That like you see one thing, you know, okay, I want to do this, and then you see another thing, like, oh no, okay, I want to try this thing, you know. So that's what like I decided, you know what, once I was starting to get success with Airbnb and I started making my first couple of $10,000 online, I was like, you know what, this is working. I need to scale and just like get really good at this, so I can kind of like make it a foundation, you know what I mean? So I can like just like lock it in, make me the money that I need. Okay, now that it works, I can, and now that it's automated, now I can try something else.
I got
right. Yeah.
Great. So going through this process, and of course you're saying like in your first Airbnb. Now talking about locking in, because I know for some people, even with me talking to my little brother, and he has a certain kind of businesses, he tells me it's kind of hard to lock in on something certain. Would you like aiming at a particular goal, or like having some kind of financial goal? Like now what's your game on giving them back? Like, okay, once I found something that I'm kind of good at than others, and I'm finding some momentum, what kind of steps, what actionable steps to say, okay, this is the goals, or this how I approach it?
Well, I think that it all depends with what everybody's goals are, you know. Because let's say that if you're comfortable making 10,000 a month with Airbnb, for a lot of people, that's already a goal, you know? Imagine just like making 10,000 a month. So when I kind of reached like that 20,000 a month mark, I was like, you know what? I feel like this is good and I'm like comfortable with this. Now I want to try something else. You know, I want to diversify my portfolio because we all heard that saying that you have to have multiple streams of income to like become a successful person. So that's kind of what I did. You know, when I started getting success with Airbnb, I was like, you know what, I'm good at this. Why not give this content for free on YouTube? So I started doing YouTube. I was not getting paid a single dollar for doing it. It was like basically like I think I took like 3 years so I can see something coming in, you know, from YouTube. And luckily now it's paying off. YouTube actually is paying me some money, and I actually started also my mentorship program, which is pretty good, you know. So to answer your question, I feel like it depends how much you're comfortable making, you know. I can't really tell you like a specific number because everybody's different. But if you can aim for 10,000 a month with your idea, if you can reach that, then I feel like that's a good way to see it, you know?
Yeah. I think it's important too, like Greg said, right? Like he set a goal for himself. He wanted 1,000. He started reassessing things now, how he can optimize. And you said a good point. I want to touch on this. So we understand your mindset, how it shifted, but tell us about the person who is sitting like, yo, you're saying, like, I want y'all to realize, like, this is extremely valuable content on YouTube. I just want y'all to, like, he's going to give y'all some game today. Please go back and watch, because, like, I videos, even though this is my first. And I got,
hey, I'm not, yours going in and out, bro. Pick up your phone and put it down or something. You kind of going in and out.
Can you hear me better now?
Yeah.
Damn, my fault. But what I was saying is, I've watched a bunch of his videos before and got a bunch of value from it. And I'm not even in that space, y'all. So, like, the truth is, he's going to give y'all some game, but I want you guys to really focus in on, like, what is, for somebody, Greg, what's something that if they are sitting there and they're like, okay, cool, I hear you. You talking about $10,000. That would be great. But, like, I'm, you know, trying to figure out how to get this thing started. Could you walk through that with somebody? Let's give them an example, because I think examples are good for people. Let's say somebody, they got like a few $1,000s in available credit and maybe a few $1,000s in the bank. Walk them through what you would do, you know, step by step. Once again, y'all, you can hit the YouTube, but I just want him to kind of go through so you guys can see. Tell them how they would best get into the game with everything that you know.
Look, so I feel like the first thing that everybody should do is not just start throwing your money out there. First of all, the first thing that you're going to do is invest in yourself. Okay, let's say that you have, for instance, $5,000 in your bank right now. Okay, take 1,000, invest in yourself. Buy books. Pay somebody maybe like a consultation fee to like talk to somebody that is doing what you want to do. And then once you invest in yourself, do some research, then dive into what you want. Because
I'll pause right quick, bro.
Yeah.
I just want to agree because it's so much consistency, bro. And the last past like people that we have on here, bro. Please keep in mind what he's saying before he even get started. Before he even said create an LLC. Before he said do anything that's boots on the ground. My doctor said go get some more information and pay for the information, because that paying the purchase is gonna make you a more valuable person in that industry. Go ahead.
Right.
I just and who generating a certain amount of income on
the like notice I didn't even start with the LLC thing, you know, like let's just forget about the LLC. Oh my gosh, you have no idea how many people tell me, hey Greg, how do you start an LLC, or what name should I name my LLC? I'm like, shut up.
Pull
the LLC apart. Your LLC don't mean shit if you're not bringing in money. I didn't start my LLC until I started making money, you know? So first of all, like I said, pay somebody to educate you, buy a couple books. If you need to like get into a coaching program for like $300, do that. Don't be afraid to do that. If you are afraid to invest $1,000 into yourself, into your education, you don't have what it takes to make it in this game, you know? Or you know, or if you don't want to invest any of your money, at least do more research. Once you do that research and you kind of have an idea, okay, let's say that we want to do Airbnb. The first thing that we're going to do is study your market, you know. First of all, we want to make sure that we are allowed to do Airbnb, you know, because in a lot of different cities, we don't even allowed to do Airbnb because of, let's say, certain regulations that we can't rent our property for more than or for less than 30 days. So you want to really see that the place that you want to do Airbnb is going to work. So after you do that, you're going to do market research and see how much properties are renting for, how much properties are going on the market for rent, you know. That's like if you're doing the rental arbitrage method, in which you're going to rent out a property and you're going to list it on Airbnb. So now that you kind of have that knowledge, now you're going to have the confidence to go up to a landlord and basically partner up with them to do this together. Because when you're doing this as a rental arbitrage, when you're going to go rent out a property from a property owner, you're basically partnering up with that person. So once you have that going, you already secure the deal, then you're going to go buy furniture. So that furniture, don't buy it with your cash, buy it with your business credit. So now after you get the approval and everything, I mean, going back to the LLC, let's say that you actually got your LLC before you went to go talk to property owners so you can seem more legit. You're going to have a ability to apply for a business credit card. Now that business credit card, you can buy furniture leveraging the bank's money, you know, at 0% APR for 12 months. You buy the furniture, you furnish the place, and you list it on Airbnb, and bam, you know, start gaining your reservations and you start making your money. But the biggest takeaway from this question was that I don't want you to spend your money on getting your LLC first. I want you to educate yourself in the beginning, you know? Make sense?
I think, yeah, and I think y'all, like, I promise y'all we don't tell these people what to say. Like, I promise y'all we don't talk to these people beforehand. Like, this is my first time meeting Greg, y'all. I know Greg through Z because that's his mentor, and I've heard great things about him and watched a few of his videos. But, like, I want y'all to realize everybody is on here saying the same exact thing. And this is not to be like a broken record, but it's the reality of life.
Yeah, it's a reality.
That's why the first few episodes we talked about credit, right? We're not going to harp on it. You can go back and watch the other episodes, or you can find somebody to buy and learn about credit. But personal credit is first, then get your business credit, right? But even when you have those two things, if you're really being strategic, you should be investing in yourself, going to get, like we talked about the past 2 weeks, ebooks, mini courses, full courses. And if you have enough money, honestly, go straight for the mentorship, right? So you can really bypass a lot of time.
Yeah.
And that's obviously everything that Greg said. Now, do you have another question? Go ahead, Z.
I was just going to hit on what you were saying about the credit play, because essentially, like, everything goes hand in hand, because, like, you can't make plays with leverage credit if you don't get yourself on, like, what we was talking about, like on APRs, on like what certain banks, like how do we credit limits, or how do I get approvals, like what scores do I need, or what trade lines do I need on my order. So like you said, bro, it's not just one industry. Like, it's not like because every industry and you got to do like certain things that you might. He's telling you to buy for a mentor. I need to get tell him. You in the first live you introduced it, pay for a mentorship. My boy learned game about credit, bro. So like, it's just not one particular industry. Guys are telling you you're gonna put yourself in some situation. You can go ahead, bro. I don't have no.
Yeah, you good. Yeah, you probably got to pick your phone up too, because you going a little in and out. But what I was gonna say is, okay, so let me ask you this. There's two ways that people go about this, and I know you can test this, Greg. So some of us, right, and I know I've been on both ends. One person says, I don't want to pay for that. I hear everything you're saying. I'm going to figure it out myself. And the other person pays, right? But most of the time, if you're on one end of the stick, meaning the pay, you either paid your first time or you had to learn your lesson. So for the people, because I want to know too, did you have a mentor? Did you pay for a course, or did you have to learn? And then when you got there, you were like, oh, dang, I learned the sauce. I should have just paid for this. Tell the people You know what I'm saying? Did you have to learn that on your own, or was that something that you were like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna buy it and I'm gonna run the play? What was that process for you to even get into the Airbnb
Hmm.
space?
Look, so when I started, the the whole Airbnb thing wasn't a big, huge thing, right? So when I started, I was just going on YouTube looking for videos. There wasn't really anybody selling a course back in the day. The only one that was kind of going heavy on this was called Brian Page. I don't know if you
Mhm.
guys have heard about Brian Page.
Yeah, he went on
He,
Cardone show. Yeah, yeah, I
Yeah,
know.
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So he was actually the first person that I learned rental arbitrage from. And look, so I didn't really took a course for Airbnb, and for me personally, it took me maybe like 2 years to like figure out all my mistakes, you know, and that cost me
Listen to what
a
he's
lot
saying,
of
y'all.
money.
2 years.
It
Keep
cost
going,
me,
but 2 years, y'all.
yeah,
It does
two
not happen
years,
overnight. But go
yeah.
ahead, bro.
So just to like understand the whole business, it took me that long to like figure out, okay, what works, what doesn't work. Um, for an example, for Airbnb, you kind of have to set up your bedding setup, right? So what I did, I was buying a bunch of colored bed sheets, colored blankets, and once they got
Yeah.
stained, I kind of just throw them away. You know, like I can't really like disinfect because I can't put Clorox. So that's when I was like, okay, you know what? I have to just buy all white. So when I somebody stains it, I can just put Clorox. Boom, you know, it looks brand new. So all that stuff, it cost me a lot of money to go and buy like the bed sheets, uh, which like quality bed sheets to buy. Also, when I started, I bought a bunch of used furniture, and now I had to buy all that furniture again. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
so
yeah.
just wasting a lot of
Greg,
money,
Greg,
a lot of
Greg, bro,
mistakes.
let me hit on something before you finish, bro. Because
Yeah,
because the crazy thing is, dude, we literally have two different scenarios right here, and me and you being my mentor. So
yeah.
let's kind of hit on that time frame, and I kind of
Mhm.
want to give y'all how my time frame was expedited in relation to Greg's, bro. So Greg said it took him like 2 years to learn the business. Actually, Greg, I enrolled in this course at the beginning of this year, dude, and have my Airbnb up in the next 10 to 14 days.
Yeah,
Who like
literally.
so like, bro, like I'm telling y'all, bro, like it's literally the cheat code. Like it's
Yeah,
literally that's literally the time frame right there, bro. Like just go get the game from somebody. But you can continue, Greg. But I love it, bro.
yeah. That's crazy. You know, like the success that you've had is freaking crazy. You know, and I wish it took me that short time of to get my first property, but for me, it took me like what, like three months. You know, and for you, it was
Yeah,
like
yeah,
crazy. It
bro.
was like what, like 14 days. That's amazing. But anyways, going back to what I was
But
talking
yeah,
about, that I was making mistakes. You know, I was even cleaning my own properties. It took me forever, wasting a bunch of time, and just to later realize that, you know what, if I had a mentor, I would have learned everything from day one. I wouldn't have made those mistakes I made. But unfortunately, you know, there wasn't a mentor back in the day that I could have had a hold of, just because there wasn't really anybody teaching this stuff, you know?
mhm.
It was later when, like right now, if you go on Google, if you go on YouTube, you'll find like hundreds of mentors. Maybe the only person that was teaching this was called Brian Page, you know, that person. But to tell you the truth, I actually enrolled in one of what's that guy's called? Uh, Ty Lopez courses. You know,
Mhm.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah.
have you ever heard about Ty Lopez before?
He's a big market. Like he be running a hella ads. I think I seen one of his ads or something, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was probably, I invested $500 into a package that he had, right? He had like
Um,
a deal going on that if you enrolled, you get like a bunch of different courses. So, dude, I invested like $500 in the beginning, right? And I wanted to learn wholesaling. That's why I started wholesaling. So then later I was like regretting. I was like, man, why did I spend this money? As I was scrolling to different courses that he had there, he had Airbnb. And guess who was
mm,
teaching it? Brian
Brian
Page.
Page.
you
Dude,
good, love.
it wasn't even a full course. It was kind of like a webinar broken down in pieces. But that was all it took for me to learn like the skills and have like the courage for me to do it. So you see, I didn't really invest it into a coach or in this big Airbnb program back in the day, because, like I said, there wasn't really anything that was offered. But that little investment that I made to myself, that to join Ty Lopez's courses, that was the best investment I've ever done till this day, because I made more money than what it cost. You know,
Right. Right.
so sometimes you kind of just have to have like a leap of faith and just go ahead, you know, like, okay, if you lose $500, that's maybe because you didn't end up going with the program. Because a lot of people that join a course, they join, they're excited, and then a couple of weeks later, they're like, oh, you know what? I don't want to click on it. I don't want to go and continue doing it. That's just a mentality, dude. You know, if you buy into a course or a program or coaching, you kind of have to like show up, you know, and just do it.
Yeah. Hey, dude, and I want to hit on something, bro, because I think it's crazy. But when we talk about business, and a lot of people, they all like we hit it first. They all want to talk about like the actionable steps, like stuff like getting the LLC, like what the name should be. But when we talk about mindset, bro, even with you buying, like getting inside of the course, like before you even start your business. So like if I don't have that mindset, like I said, like you said, I'm pretty sure it's somebody who enrolled in your mentorship the same time as me and still has not gotten Airbnb to this day. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, bro, it's like the course can still be great value and good work, but it's also going to be about the person mindset
the person
and their consistency and how much do they really want to get stuff done. So like, bro, I love what you're hitting on, bro, because even if you could have went through the first part and be like, man, I don't want to do no, but like you said, you went deeper into the course and was like, man, some way, somehow, I spent $500 on this course. I'm gonna get some value out of it. So like, bro, it's perfect that you hit on that, brother.
Yeah, dude. And unfortunately, you know what? I do have students that sign up and they don't even show up to any of my weekly meetings. They don't even email me. You know, I remember you when you first joined, you sent me an email like once a week, you know, and I was going back and forth with you, helping you out.
For
And I
sure.
appreciate that, you know, I appreciate
You
the
did, bro.
hustle
You
and
mentioned that.
yeah. So there's people that don't even take advantage of that. So you know what? At that point, there's nothing I can do. You know, I'm just here. Okay, like once somebody joins my program, I'm their mentor. If they want to talk to me once a day, I'm there for them. But if they don't want to show up, then that's honestly the problem of the person. You know, at that point, you know.
For sure, bro.
Yeah, I think I wanna hit on something else too. So like for the people that don't understand why you give your stuff away for free on YouTube, right? There's this big community that's like really strung up in not giving away valuable content. Could you talk a little bit about, because we're on mindset, like we try to focus on mindset with everything. When in your mind switch to say, you know, I'm really just gonna go out here and just start giving these people things I know about YouTube. I mean, not YouTube, Airbnb tips, give stuff away, because I'm sure, right? You probably say there's some of the same things on your YouTube that you say in your course and your mentorship, because people won't listen. They'll hear it, but they won't take action on it until they pay. How did you get to that? How did you get to that mindset for you? Like when it was like, dang, you know, I'm realizing that I'm telling y'all the same thing that you hear on my free stuff, but when you pay for it, what kind of switched that for you? I mean, and I guess that's a dual question into like, what made you say I want to make a course and mentorship? Like, what was the switch for you?
Okay, so look, let's first talk about the beginning. You know, when I first created my YouTube, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna give everything for free. Why? Because because this is not a secret. You know, like if you don't want to listen to me, you can go to another person and listen to the same information, right? But for me, I wanted to give the people more like a more real side of me first, you know. And just because when I started this Airbnb business, there was nobody giving out as much free stuff that I'm giving out, you know. So for me, it was instantly, and in the beginning, I wanted to give all my knowledge for free, because even like for all these people that are saying, "Oh, I don't want to give my information for free," even if you were to give it for free, people wouldn't still take action, you know.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, I'm still gonna give it out for free because people deserve to like have some sort of knowledge of this business or like the real side of it. Because if you look more deep into Airbnb, there's nobody that's doing behind the scenes as I'm doing. I actually have blogs of me going to my properties and showing people what I do on a daily basis.
Yeah.
If you go and see other people's videos, nobody ever shows what they're doing. So I'm the only one that's actually showing proof that I'm doing this business and you're not, you know? It's just like other people that are talking about Airbnb, they're just in the camera, sitting in their house, and that's it. They never step outside. For all we know, they can just be lying about what they do, you know?
Yeah,
So,
for sure, great.
so
For
I
Right.
sure.
feel like I'm a firm believer of sharing what you know, because there was a saying also with Gary Vee. He's really famous, you know. Like, I'm pretty sure you guys know him, right?
Yeah,
If you
for sure.
guys want to reach out or get or have people listen to you, just give your stuff for free. Just screw it. Just give it for free. You know, and that's when I heard that, I instantly triggered me to just, you know what, screw it. I'm gonna just teach everybody what I know, and in the long run, I'll get compensated. And so far, I have been compensated. You know, I've gone money with YouTube. I make ad revenue on YouTube. I
Mm.
also I do affiliate links and stuff like that. Like, the opportunity is endless. Now, moving forward with the other question you had about why I started a course, was because I feel like people deserve to have access to me, you know?
Mm.
So my program is not too much about, okay, here's more information about how to do Airbnb, you know, because information is out there. If you really want to go look for the information about how to do Airbnb, go spend hours and sit on your ass and just look for the details.
Yeah.
But the biggest
Right.
takeaway of my program is that you have access to me. You know, screw the information, you have access to me. And I think that's more important than join a course nowadays, because
Yeah.
if you create a course, honestly, I recommend you to like have it based on you or you as a mentor, because if you're selling information, it's really easy to get called off on that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I created a mentorship just because I wanted to have more direct access to people, or people have access to me. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
no, no. That definitely does, and I think it goes back to like, and that's why I asked the question. It goes back to the
Mhm.
topic is like leveraging relationships to build wealth, right?
Yeah.
And it's like that person who buys your course or your mentorship, they're leveraging the relationship with you to start getting income, and the level of that income goes to is determined by them, right? But that relationship in and of itself is now giving them a new vehicle for which they can start
Mhm.
making money, and I think
Yeah.
that's so important.
And I want to hit on something too, bro. Because as we start to talk about this, bro, and we keep talking about mindset, I want people to start thinking about, especially, you know, as we drop this live and it's going on the feed, people need to think about like their why, bro. Like when they start in this journey, like what's the purpose of you being in this journey, and then when you figure out your why, figure out who can help you solve your why. Like I mean, it's literally that simple, bro. So if you like
Mhm.
my why was generating a certain amount of income. I know somebody's generating a certain amount of income, so they gonna help me solve my why, bro. So like, yeah, just when it comes back to the basis of mindset, you guys, if you want something that's gonna fuel you and something that you're not gonna give up on, just write down your why every day. I mean, it's something simple, and then that'll keep you with the same consistency on how to attack these courses, how to keep the same mindset. Because I know, like some people, you know, they wake up in the morning, it's just like they just not feeling it. Maybe one of those days, but you have something that intentionally reminds you, whether it be an affirmation or why you doing it, and then you got somebody like me, Trey, or Greg in your circle that you can talk to that's also been through these actionable steps and get information from. I mean, like you can't lose, bro. Like you got somebody that you're doing it for, so why that you doing it behind, and you got somebody that's already been in a position. Like you can't lose. So
Mhm.
you can go, Trey, but I just had to hit on that, bro. That mindset,
Yeah.
time,
I agree.
everything, bro.
Yeah. And anybody else that's in here, if y'all got questions, we got about 15 minutes, so you can definitely ask away to Greg specifically, Airbnb, or anything just about his journey. And you know how he ended up getting here. I know Airbnb is a hot topic too for a lot of
Yeah.
people. Kind of, I want to ask you a question, right? And somebody might have this is like, uh, do you see thing? My bad, I went out. My bad. Do you see Airbnb as something that somebody can do long term? Right. Big objection I hear from people is like, this is not sustainable. You know, how do you flip the houses, things like that. Uh, not going into too much into like your 5-year plan, but in terms of like, you know, what do you see long term for Airbnb for yourself, and just for the people out there who are like, you know, they want to be where you're at. They're like, yo, I like what
Mhm.
Greg's saying. I like his mindset. I want to tap in with him. what's kind of like the future for Airbnb in your mind now that you've been in the space for so long?
Okay, so one thing that not a lot of people are talking about is midterm rentals. You know, midterm
Greg
rentals
just
are
brought
like
too much game to y'all boys tonight, man.
I don't even know what
Dropping
that
them.
is. So put
He
me on.
dropping
Put
the
me on. Put
gems,
me on.
Greg. Greg going crazy.
Yeah,
yeah.
put
So
me on.
look. So right now, Airbnb is kind of pissing a lot of people off, a lot of hosts. You know, especially because I don't know if you guys recently heard or UZ that they're gonna take away the cleaning fees.
Yeah, I
You
saw
That's
know,
that.
crazy. Yeah.
so that, I mean, for me personally, is this not gonna hurt me because what am I gonna do? I'm just gonna raise my rates and that's it
Yeah.
to cover for those cleaning fees. But anyways, the platform is kind of, I feel like they're kind of the platform is not gearing towards us
Oh,
hosts.
yeah, it's going towards more to guess.
It's all about the guests, you know.
For sure.
So the future of Airbnb, I don't know how long it's gonna take for people to realize that, you know what, this platform doesn't give a fuck about hosts. So I definitely see people or hosts moving to different platforms.
Mm-hmm.
But the business model, just to be clear, is not Airbnb. It's either short-term rentals or midterm rentals. Okay.
Break that
So,
down for people. Yeah, break that down
Yeah.
for people,
I
Greg.
like that,
Go
Greg.
ahead. Break that down
all
for
right.
people.
So short-term rentals, I mean, for like short-term rentals have been going on for years, you know? Like what made it popular was the platform of Airbnb. Airbnb is just the platform where you can find a rental. But if you go back 20 years ago, you can just go to an agency and you can rent out a beach property for like for a couple of days, you know, to
There
go
you go.
to your vacation in California. But Airbnb just made it easy for you to find a property, you know. So right now, for the short term rental business is basically renting out your property for a shorter periods of time. You know, so with that being said, you don't really have to use Airbnb to be successful. There's other platforms like VRBO, Booking.com,
Mm-hmm.
and I forgot the other platforms, but there's a bunch, right?
Yeah.
But Airbnb is a top, is the leader. But anyways, now moving to the what I was talking about, midterm rentals. Midterm rental is basically renting your property for more than 30 days. And what this means is not renting it as a long term, but just renting it for like a period of 3 months, 6 months at a time.
Mm-hmm.
So now, if you want to get into this business, what I recommend you guys to do is really learn the rental arbitrage business model or the business idea in general. Because with this being said, if you learn how to do rental arbitrage, you can leverage other people's properties. Let's say you find 5 properties that are for rent. You rent them, and then you re-rent them to traveling professionals that are going to stay there for 3 months or 6 months at a time. So
Mm-hmm.
right now, I really don't have a lot of properties on Airbnb. I have outside of Airbnb. I basically list them on a platform called FurnishFinder.com. And that
Mm-hmm.
platform allows me to find short-term tenants that are going to stay there for 3 months or 6 months at a time. Most of them are traveling nurses.
I love
And
it, man.
let me tell you this: you can technically furnish a property and rent it more than what it's actually worth in the market, just because it has furniture and you can rent it out for 3 months at a time. People are willing
Hey,
to pay good money.
hey, Greg, I want
Yeah,
to hit on something too, because it's an upside with that too, dude. With
yeah,
you being able to have your guest in there for that certain amount of time, the turnover is less. So you
yeah.
also don't have to worry about that extra cleaning that
Right,
with
right.
those 7 or 10 guests turning over through the month, bro. So y'all, man, y'all better listen to Greg. Greg got here dropping gems tonight, man, giving y'all the
Yeah.
furniture.
So
He giving y'all the website, the time frame, and everything, man. Y'all boys better tap into Greg.
yeah. So literally, yeah. So if you guys want to really succeed in Airbnb, I recommend you guys to look for more of the midterm rental space, just because, like I said, you're gonna basically do the same thing as you're gonna do an Airbnb, like get a
Mm-hmm.
property, furnish it, but now you're gonna offer it to people that are gonna stay there for 3 months at a time. So basically, you're gonna become the landlord without really being the landlord. You know what I mean? So you're gonna be getting cash flow every single month for those properties that you rent for like 3 months, 6 months at a time. And if you really want to make this business sustainable, I think that's the way to go. Because short-term rentals, like I said, renting your property for less than 30 days, they're being banned in different cities. A lot of cities are taking action, like let's say San Francisco, LA, New York. They are trying to shut down the whole idea of renting a property for less than 30 days. So a way to an outcome to like go around those laws is to do midterm rentals, and that's something that a lot of people are not talking about. But I do talk that I do talk about that in my mentorship, which I teach my students, because I want them to have different opportunities to succeed in this business. Not just Airbnb or short-term rentals, but also look at different ways to make money, which is with midterm rentals.
No, I think, man, I got so many questions myself. We only got 9 minutes, bro, because I didn't even know about that midterm play.
Yeah.
Personally, man. So just so I understand, right, and for people, you know, I ask a question because we haven't had too many come in, but so basically what you're telling me is, right, I can, okay, so there's this rental arbitrage thing, right? I'm gonna break it down for people that don't understand, which is, you know, I go get a property and I can list it on different things. There's Airbnb, VRBO, and then there's this other website. What's it called again?
Furnish
Back up,
Finder.
Trey. Back up, Trey. You said go get a property. I want exactly, because that's different. The verb is different. Let's be real intentional with the verbiage. You feel me? Greg, when you say go get a property, tell them exactly what you mean when you say go get. Because I know it's some gyms like where you got to have certain conversations with certain people in order to get these properties. But tell them you can't, because some people might think you're talking about purchasing a property, or some people talking about you going a different route. So talk to them about that, Greg, about exactly.
So so basically we're not gonna go buy a property. We're gonna go and look for properties that are currently renting, and you can have access to the property owner. Right now, you can actually go to you can look for properties that are for rent on Zillow or on Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace. Just go and just do a quick search in your area and see what's renting. Let's say that you come across a property that is renting and there's a property owner that's listing it. Okay, get that number, give them a call, have them meet you in the property, or just instantly just give them the pitch of what you're trying to do. So now when you find a property that is renting, you're going to talk to that property owner and tell them exactly what you're going to do, which is we're trying to get that property to offer it to traveling professionals. You know, so now once let's say that you explain everything what you're trying to do with that property owner. You say that you want to acquire that property or that rental to offer it to our traveling professional clients. Now, once you get that property, you furnish it and get it ready for somebody to stay there, and you will find a tenant on furnishfinder.com. Make sense?
I love it.
Yeah.
So furnishfinder.com is a website where people can go, and it's gonna go find people for me. Like, explain that. Do I have to run ads? Like, tell me.
Nah.
Well, for somebody that doesn't understand, I just post my my
You put your
listing on
listing,
there,
your property,
and then just like Airbnb, it's gonna go find people for me.
Generate
And
leads.
I gotta handle the rest. Is that correct?
So look, for furnishfinder.com, it's a little bit different. People are not gonna instantly book your property. You're basically going to either get leads, or people are gonna call you on your phone to rent your property. You know? So let's assume that you on your listing you say, okay, you know what, if you want to rent this property, call me at this number or email me. So people are gonna start hitting you up, and they're gonna tell you how long they want to rent, why they're gonna be staying in that property for. So once you get a couple of people, then you're gonna kind of like vet them. You kind of like have to run the credit, see like if they're actually working in that area, pay stubs, like all that stuff that a traditional landlord would do.
Tenant, got you.
Yeah, or tenant. Yeah, so now you kind of have to like qualify them to stay in your property, and once you qualify them and they get approved, then they can rent your property for as long as they need to, you know. And let's say that you get your first tenant to stay there for 3 months. Okay, so now once you rent your property for those 3 months, you now list it for the other available months of the year. But while you're doing that, you're gonna get your other property. You know, it's kind of like I kind of recommend you to at least get like a property per month, you know, just like every single month, just get a property until you reach to like at least 10 properties, and you'll be cash flowing easily, like $1,000 or $1,500 per month on just one property.
I
Yeah.
love it.
Okay. Okay. Cool. So I'm thinking I'm gonna ask questions about myself, man. So
Yeah.
if I do this right, can I run advertisements to this website? I know sometimes with Airbnb it's a little sticky. Can I do that to the furnace finder? Can I
Yeah.
run an ad for people, for nurses and whoever else may be traveling to there, or it's gonna do that for me?
Hold on. Yeah, let me ask a follow-up question with that.
Yeah.
Because so Greg, yeah, how how likely is it that, like, how often do you get inquiries about the property once you post it? Is probably a better follow-up question.
I get a
No,
bunch
no,
of
and
emails all the time.
yeah, no, and I know we on the spot, and I know it probably depends on the area and everything. But
Yeah,
I'm just
yeah.
curious for like Furnish Finder, because I'm pretty sure if I post it in like downtown Nashville and it's a one bedroom, one bath apartment that people can easily come to and have access to conventions, I will get a lot of inquiries. So like, I guess what he's trying to say is, does Furnish Finder allow you to like have an outside source to run kind of traffic to the website? Or is it pretty likely that somebody's going to book through Furnish Finder?
So look, you can run ads on your property. That's a whole different story, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
From what I know, I don't think you can run ads on Furnish Finder just because Furnish Finder already gives you like a bunch of leads, you know. But let's say that you want more eyes to your property, then maybe you can create like a Facebook post and you can pay for ads that way, so people can go directly to that website and they can have access to your number and run it. But I don't recommend you to do that because just like in the platform itself, they're already giving you the best quality tenants, traveling nurses, people that are in the military, people that
Yeah.
are in corporations. Now, another thing that I'm currently doing is listing my properties on Airbnb, but having a 30-night minimum. So that's how you can
Snap.
secure a longer stay for your properties, you know? So on
Yeah.
Airbnb, you can decide for how long you want. You can either rent it for 2 days, a week, a month, or 6 months, you know? You can have your calendar open and somebody can literally go to your listing and rent it for like 6 months. I've seen that, you know?
Crazy.
So
Yeah.
that's you don't just have to depend on Furnish Finder to get those long-term bookings. You can also try to do it on Airbnb. Huh?
Yeah, that's good game.
I like that. I like that. So you gave me some game because I didn't know
Yeah,
about the
midterm.
mid rounds for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, we almost out of time. I don't know if you have anything, Z. I do want to tell everybody, man, or give Greg the opportunity to let everybody know how they can get connected with him. Make sure if y'all haven't followed him, go ahead and click up at the top. Make sure y'all follow Greg. Get tapped in with him. But what are some different ways, man? They can get connected with you. Do you have courses? I mean, we know, but for the people that don't, what are some different ways they can get connected with you? What do you recommend? The floor is yours for the last, minute to 2 minutes, man.
Cool. So I say if you guys want to get a free game of Airbnb, go to my YouTube channel. Just type in Greg Pimentel, or even if you put Airbnb Greg, I'll be like the first couple of videos that will show up there. And I say just watch my videos. You know, I feel like that's the best way that you can get to like know me, get to know what I do. Go to my YouTube channel. Go send me a DM on my Instagram at Greg at the real Greg Pimentel.
The real
And
one.
yeah, that's kind of like I feel like the easiest way to have contact with me is through my Instagram. Just send me a DM, and I'll try my best to like get back to you. But yeah, for those of you that are just interested in that are barely interested in getting into entrepreneurship, I say it, instead of like getting your LLC and all this stuff, just spend a couple of days learning what you really want to do. You know,
Yeah.
like look at different businesses, and when we talk about business, don't look at something that you have to be there to make money. You know, because a lot of people say, okay, you know what, I'm gonna open a little like let's say a little lemonade stand. That's gonna be my business. You know, I don't like those type of businesses because you have to be there in order to make money. You know, if if you're not there and it's making you money, I feel like that's kind of like more like a legitimate business rather than you having to be there. So right now there's a bunch of other business that you guys can do. One thing that I want to share with you guys, if you guys don't want to do Airbnb, look for something that's rentable. You know, buy a couple bicycles, rent them out. Buy a couple
Yeah.
of chairs, rent them out to
That
somebody that's
boy
trying to
give
throw
him
a party.
game.
Buy a couple photo
Hey,
booths, you know?
yeah, oh me. But nah, bro, what I want to say is, man, like, even us being on this call, of course, the conversation was how to leverage relationships to build
Oh,
wealth.
okay. Yeah.
You know, all of us, you know, at some point we didn't know each other, and now we created relationships. So what I want to do is challenge everybody that watches this live to go out and create a new relationship with 3 people this week,
Yep.
and whether that relation, and let's talk about because any kind of relationship isn't a positive relationship. Like, let's talk about the relation. Hell, even if that might be cutting off a relationship that's been a negative impact on you for the past 4 or 5 months, past year. I mean, if like, and we hit on this every week, people. But like, if you want to change your situation, essentially you got to change your environment and your mindset. And I think everybody that we bring on here is gonna tell y'all the same thing, man. Like, change your environment, get the education, and then attack the venture. Because if you don't have your mindset right, and if your environment not in place, you gonna fail. Like, I'm gonna be real with y'all,
Yeah,
boys.
yeah.
Like, you gonna fail. Like, you're not gonna make it through. So you got to get those 2 things in place before you do anything. So I challenge anybody to cut off the relationship that's not pouring into them, or create new relationships that's gonna help you get to where you want to go.
Yep,
So
I totally agree. And also, I want to add one thing, and that is to hang around people that are ambitious, you know? Hang around with people that like to talk about money, you know? Like,
yeah,
I personally, like this past couple of days, I've been like just trying to focus on hanging out with like a couple of people that like to have or like to share off ideas, you know? If you're not talking about money, I really don't want to like spend too much time with you. So like yeah, I recently heard this too, that like if the first couple people that are around you, they're just like talking about, oh, like let's go to this, like let's go get drunk, or let's do this, like, dude, just cut them off. If especially if you want to get ahead, you know, you can be stuck
yeah,
in that circle, yeah, that's fine. But if you want to get to the next level, if you want to become an entrepreneur, bro, it's time to start meeting new people,
yep.
people that are going to challenge you, people that are better than you. If the people that you're around with are not like kind of like challenging you, then that means that you're probably not in the right circle. You know, go meet
There you
people.
go.
It's not hard. Life is like not hard. You know, if for instance, if you guys want to meet people with money, go to your nicest hotel, go to the bar, sit down right there, and just like maybe make a conversation with
Crazy
that
stuff.
person in that bar. You know, or go to where people like go hang out with where there's a lot of money. Just go do that. You know, and I can guarantee you,
Bang.
you find somebody that will like give you an idea, open your doors, and change your whole mindset.
I love it, bro.
Yeah, man. I think that's like I said, y'all. We don't talk to these people, man. We literally sat in that conversation on Sunday, and I swear to goodness, we won't talk to these people, man. This is the formula is never going to change. Change your environment. Change what you
Yeah,
listen to. Change who you follow. Change what you watch on YouTube. Change how you spend your time. Naturally, everything else is going to change. Believe in yourself. Go buy a course, right? We're not saying that everything's going to be easy, but it is simple. That those all the 4 things I just named are extremely simple. Everything that Greg has said today is extremely simple, right?
super simple.
It's not hard. It's not hard in terms of difficulty, but it's not going to be easy in terms of what you
Execution.
actually need, yeah, to execute on it. So, and my thing is, man, just follow the simple method. It's going to be times where, like Greg was saying earlier, man, it took him 2 years. Y'all don't let that go over y'all head. It took him 2 years. Like, we don't get on here to say nobody's
Five
gonna get
years,
on here.
actually. 5 years, man.
5 years. My bad. We put some
Five.
respect on it. It took him
Yeah.
five. It took him
5 years
five
to get
years.
to where I'm at right now. You know, like I it didn't really like for Airbnb. It was kind of like okay instantly, you know. But those mistakes, I had to like go back. I actually for all the businesses that I've started that to actually show some money coming in, I feel like it took like about five years. So if you guys don't have what it takes to wait that long, just go back to your job. You know, go back to your job.
You heard.
Go to your
No
school.
sugarcoat shit.
Go get in debt and just live a shitty life. You know, because for me it was worth waiting 5 years. You know,
I love it, Greg.
but
Hey,
I
like
love
even
it, bro.
but if you like, let's say that you guys implement everything that we talked about here, you can probably do it in 1 or 2. you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I mean,
Yeah.
I know you guys can now that we kind of talked about Airbnb, you guys have access to me to ask me any questions. You guys can probably do it in a fewer years, you know. Just because it took me 5 years to like get really good success doesn't mean it's gonna take you the same years. It might take you less just because you have more information, more resources. So take
And they
advantage
got
of those
access to
resources.
you. That's
Yep,
the they got
exactly,
access to you. They got
exactly.
access to you.
Yeah. Yeah. Last thing before we go, y'all, I just want y'all to pay attention to these two gentlemen right here. One is the mentor, one's the mentee. So we don't talk about nothing we do not do. I'm gonna get a few of the mentors that I've rocked out with on here soon as well, because I want y'all to see that like we're not on here to say number one, we're not on here to say we better or more ahead of anybody,
Mm-hmm.
right? This is all for educational purposes, right? We
There you go.
get on here and bring people that we like, that we admire, that we know on here because everybody has their own story and we want them to give back. And y'all don't want to keep hearing us say the same thing. So they're going to keep getting on here and saying the same thing in different ways, in different avenues. It's not going to change, right? You can go talk to anybody. It's going to all be the same. Everybody's going to talk about credit. Everybody's going to talk about mindset. It's all going to be the same, man. So I'm about to hop off here, y'all. I appreciate everybody for hopping.
Appreciate you,
Y'all have
Greg.
Yeah,
questions?
thanks for having me.
Y'all can make sure y'all follow Greg right up here. Y'all click this button right up here. Follow my dog. Make sure y'all subscribe to his YouTube too, because like this just a little taste. I'm telling y'all, bro. He got 10, 15 minute long videos.
Man, go support that brother, man.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's why Z hopped in his mentorship. So like y'all recognize that. If y'all want to tap in with Z, y'all know where you can find them. Same thing with me. Book a call. Otherwise, we'll see y'all real soon. Talk to y'all later.
Appreciate you, man.
Yep.
Gang.
Later.
Yep.
Thanks for
Yes,
having
sir.
me.